Hello subscribers, here is another review, and this time it's the Safari Ltd Alligators Alive tube. As you can see, there are 10 figures in the set, 7 of them being alligators, and 3 of them being non-alligators. So let's start this review off by taking a look at the non-alligators. First up, we have a water moccasin. Now, of course, by looking at this, most of you know that this is not a water moccasin. Water moccasins have shorter length, they're mostly brown and black in color, and they're much more girthier. And of course, this one lacks any of those features. This one just looks more like a generic snake toy than any specific species of snake. But it does have some nice detailing. You can see the scales on the bottom, of course, all the scales sculpted on the top. And also, in Safari Ltd's river tube, this same exact snake is featured, but it's just referred to as just plain snake. And also, in that same exact river tube, a much more accurate cottonmouth figure is in that set. So I don't know why they could have used that cottonmouth figure for this set. Or maybe this alligator tube was made before that. Overall, not really a huge fan of this figure, just feels very generic, like I said. Next up is one of the 2 turtles in the set, which is the Softshell Turtle. As you can see, it's covered in okay detailing, even though most of it is just smooth, with some tiny scales sculpted on there. And of course, you got the signature long nose of the Softshell Turtle. Of course, the colors are just mostly brown all over it. And Safari did release a large Softshell Turtle figure, so this little guy will probably make a good baby for that larger figure. Here is the second turtle in the set, which is the Alligator Snapping Turtle. And of course, I think this is just a smaller version of their Incredible Creatures Alligator Snapping Turtle. And like its larger counterpart, this one's full of good detailing. As you see, all the scales on the neck and all the osteoderms on the shell. See, it's got that vicious head right here. Alligator snapping turtles are pretty dangerous. They give nasty bites. See, and the colors are mostly brown and green, a very swampy color. See, overall, this is a pretty cool figure in the set, and it will look great next to the larger alligator snapping turtle by Safari. Now let's take a look at the alligators. So now this little guy is just referred to as alligator. And as you see, it has a pretty nice paint job and some good detailing on here for a minifigure. And this one seems to be resting, waiting to go into the water to look for prey. So yeah, overall this is like I said, this is a pretty cool figure, even though the limbs do look kind of big in comparison to the rest of the body. Next up, we have another alligator. This one seems to be roaring, but this one's referred to as the Everglades Alligator. As you can see, same exact paint job and detailing as the previous alligator minifigure in the set. Of course, this one's just a smaller version of Safari's 1997 alligator sculpt right here. Of course, sculpt and pose, the same exact thing. Of course, the only real difference being the paint job. So yeah, this is another cool alligator in the set, but like the previous minifigure, this one does have some pretty big limbs compared to the rest of its body. Next up, we have a pretty big alligator in this set, which is called the Alligator with Lifted Head. And as you can see, its head is kind of big in comparison to the rest of its body. The limbs seem to be a bit better in proportion to the body. As you can see, the snout right here looks a lot more like a crocodile than an alligator. This figure would have been better if they were to give this figure a color scheme and call it an American crocodile. Here we have the alligator in the grass figure. And as its name suggests, of course this alligator is laying on the grass, probably basking in the sun. This is probably my favorite alligator figure in the set, or probably my favorite figure in the set, mostly because the proportions are really good on this figure, much better than some of the other alligators in the set. Next up, we have the alligator with babies on the back. And of course, nothing much to say about this little figure, other than it's a smaller version of Safari's massive alligator with babies on the back. As you can see, the sculpt, basically the same thing. The only real difference is that the babies on this minifigure doesn't have the yellow stripes like the larger one does. Next up, we have the alligator with babies. As you can see, you got 3 baby alligators stacked on top of each other. And I think this figure probably would have been better if they were to give, yellow stripes on these babies. Because baby alligators in real life do in fact have yellow stripes. The last figure in the set, which is a pretty interesting one, which is the alligator swimming in the water. This is probably my second favorite figure in the set, because you don't get these type of toys often. And I'm glad Safari chose to do something like this. As you can see, the sculpt on the water is very smooth, but of course you're getting a very detailed alligator on here. Here is the entire alligator set next to the Collecte Mini Zafactinus. And as you can see, the Zafactinus is slightly larger than most of the figures in the set. Well, there you have it, guys. This is my review on the Safari Ltd Alligators Alive tube. Now, overall, this is a pretty cool looking set right here, and I do recommend you buy it. You can still find it at Michael's Arts and Crafts stores. On Amazon, it's going for pretty insane prices, like $30 for a minifigure set. And like I said, my favorites in the set are the alligator in the grass and the alligator in the water. And maybe a Safari could have done a few things to make the set better. Maybe if they were to like make this figure an albino alligator, and if they were to like make this figure green and call it an American crocodile, it probably would have been better. Because to my knowledge, there have been no American crocodile figures yet. So if you guys like this review, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review.